Most people, when they first get into bonsai, what they do is go to a nursery and they buy a load of young whips and chop them all up. I didn't. I joined the club straight away, and I joined the club, and the first thing they suggested I should do is get some decent raw material and to plant the nursery stock I had in the ground and forget about it for 5 years, which is exactly what I did. So a friend of mine lives up in Anglesey, and he's got a farm that he keeps his horses on, and I went up there to have a look at raw material, and I found this Hawthorn. I thought there was going to be loads of like perfect bonsai material ready to go, and it turns out like there isn't. There's like hundreds of trees and not many of them are good, so I ended up digging out a couple out of the best too. So I got this Hawthorn, and looking at it now, it's not great, but when I seen it in the field it looked a lot better, and I thought to myself, like, my philosophy of bonsai is like, bonsai, the whole idea is to make things better, isn't it? And I like the idea of starting with raw material and working around the floors and stuff like that. So I've put this in this pot. I've had it in the pot for a couple of years, and what I'm doing, I'm waiting for some vigorous growth on it. It doesn't look great at the moment, so I haven't seen any like explosive vigorous growth. It just kind of struggles. So what I'm going to do is just keep it in the pot and not do anything work wise on it until I start seeing some like massive heavy vigorous growth for the year. So this is the Hawthorn that I got, and I don't know, it looked great at the time, and now looking at it, it doesn't look as fantastic as I thought. I think a lot of the movement was like higher up, and like there was like movement taper and stuff, and like exciting stuff, and obviously I had to get shut of that because like it wouldn't have been a bonsai, would it? So, but if you've got any advice or ideas on any of the trees I'm going to show, you know, I'm all ears. I don't claim to be an expert on bonsai, even claim to be experienced. I'm a novice. I got into it about 5 years ago, and the real advice for newbies really is patience, isn't it? Like, so I've got some raw material and I've just kind of left it. I want to get it growing. Like, I like the idea of this being a branch and this being a branch, and then maybe an apex up here somewhere. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not making any concrete plans with it at the moment. I just want to see it explode into health. And the next thing I got was this yew tree here, and what drew me to this tree was this like double trunk thing. I thought I could make a feature out of it. I thought I could make a feature out of this double trunk thing here in my enthusiasm as a noob, and then there was that little bit of a feature drew me to it. Like, I wouldn't say they massively appeal to me now, and then this, but it's, you know, it needs a big bend in that, but it's starting to show some growth now. I want to give it a couple more seasons of just let it perk up and get going before I actually do any work on it. I just want to get it going and make it healthier. I just don't see the point in rushing into big chops and repottings and stuff if the tree's not in great health. I want to get the health there, and then we can have a look at it. As I say, I've got the rest of my life, haven't I, to get trees looking good. So, and I like the idea of the big work on raw material. I love that philosophy of, you know, constantly improving and working around the floors. It's wabi-sabi, isn't it? That's you know what I enjoy about bonsai. So I could probably realistically do with a trunk chop a bit further down, maybe making that into deadwood, a deadwood feature. I don't know. As I say, all your opinions are welcome if you see anything you like in the tree. But I like the root structure on this. I like the way it looked. It's kind of got a nice. It's still got the field soil in this, by the way. It's just field soil and pumice. I'm just putting in pumice just to keep it happy. This privet, which is quite a big. I dug this out in my bush. I was looking at all the privets in my bush, and I just looked for one that had the best, you know, taper and movement. So I'm slightly out of breath from carrying these big old things. They're quite heavy, aren't they? So, but yeah, this one seems to be pushing loads of new growth and stuff now. So maybe next autumn do some work on it. This is, I planted this in. It's just mould of clay, and I think it is. Yeah, it's just mould of clay and perlite, so just to give it something to grow into. I dug out most of the root structure on this, so I wasn't too worried about it. I just wanted to get it in something and get some healthiness into it. We can have a look at doing some work later on, can't we? So these are the 3 pieces that I've dug out. I got that one and that one from a friend's farm in North Wales, and then I dug that one out myself. There's those 3, and you know, any ideas, if you can see any potential development ideas, you let me know in the comment section please, because as I say, I'm only just getting going at this bonsai stuff, and I think it's a real skill to be able to spot a tree in raw material, and it's a skill I want to develop. I enjoy that side of it, you know. And then we've got the nursery stock I planted. This is a field maple I planted, and I've made one chop there. I've just left it to regrow, so it's gone. I just want to thicken the trunk out again, but that's grown at an awkward angle, if you can see. I don't know whether to do another chop there just to thicken it up, but that was like a little whip. This was my nursery stock that the guys at the club told me to plant, and I did, and it's thickened out a lot. This was my yew, as you can see. It's I butchered this when I first got into bonsai. Look, I chopped that right back, and that was the biggest branch by far. And then I tried to do a deadwood thing here, and then this and this, and then all this has sprouted above it. This wasn't part of the tree. I've just left it for like 5 years to get going. So there's that. That's my yew. I'm going to leave that in the ground for a long time and let it thicken up. And then we've got we've got my Japanese maple. The size of that. I've done a big chop here, and there was another one around the other side, down here. Nobody can see it. That was a branch, but it was, both of them were like 2 trunks. So I chopped that one, and that had like nice branch structure, and I wanted to try and keep that, but it all died back, so I just kind of let it to die back. But that's where I made the first chunk drop. That's where I made the first trunk chop to make some taper, and it's grown. It's about 6 foot now. There you go. And then we've got this, which I made one chop there, and then all this is growing out of it. But I want to try and get some more taper. I might do another chop on that trunk somewhere and start it again. And there's this, which it's a beech, isn't it? And then I made one chop there, and it's just grown horizontally, so I need to kind of lift it up and get some more movement in there, I think. And then here we have a Scots Pine. I've just kind of let it grow, let it thicken out. So there's that. I just want to leave that to thicken for now. It's thickened out a lot, but it's still really thin. It's just grown taller. And then this insanely grown Hawthorn. It's just grown like mad. I can't show you the movement on that. It's got inverse tapered a lot. I don't think I'll use this. I think I'll just dig it up and get shut. So there we go, guys. That's the start of my bonsai collection. I thought I'd show it off. If you're interested in following my journey, please consider subscribing. If you see anything in the content, you want to give me any opinions, advice, like, it's more than welcome. As I say, I'm only a novice. I've been doing it 5 years, but there isn't, when you say I've been doing it 5 years, there isn't really much you can do in the first 5 years, is there, except for thicken things up, dig them out, nurse them back to health. So I'm just getting to the point now where I think I'm starting to get to the point where I can start doing a bit of work. So I thought I'd show everyone off what I've got and get some opinions from people who know a lot more than I do. As I say, those trees I showed you that I bought as whips, it was a guy called Peter Warren told me to get them in the ground, give them 3 years chop, give them another 2 seasons, and then look at maybe digging them up or seeing whether they need another season. So that's what I've been doing, and I'm at the stage now where I want to start doing a bit more. I've ordered some pre-bonsai, so we can have a look at that, and then it occurs to me the only thing I should be doing this year is just repotting them and then leaving them, letting them get some vigour in them. So Videos probably slow coming out at first, but consider subscribing, support me, and if any other bonsai channels find me, if you support me, I'll support you back. I don't see this as a one-way street. You know, if there's people who are experienced and they're making content, I'll follow along and pick your brains. Take care, guys. See you soon.